Hi there, my name is Kieran and I'm a paranormal investigator and video creator based here in Ireland. In December 2021, psychic medium Rhonda Hale came all the way from New York to visit me. Little did the two of us know that something magical and unexplained would occur. What began as a meeting of friends quickly became a communication with the spirit world, the likes of which I have never witnessed before. Rhonda Hale is a psychic medium and couture dress tailor from New York. The minute she stepped foot on the Emerald Isle, spirit came to her. Me being a content creator could not miss this opportunity of a lifetime. So together, we travelled all across Ireland to haunted and historic sites. The minute me and Rhonda met in person, it was like we knew each other all of our lives. We worked together beautifully, and spirit came to Rhonda and blew us away. I brought Rhonda to some of my favourite locations, and I hit record, and the rest is history. What you're about to witness is the incredible gift of mediumship in some of Ireland's most haunted and famous landmarks. First off, we went to Lorrha, a monastic village located in County Tipperary, where Rhonda, for the first time, saw how green and historic Ireland really is. Okay guys, so we have Rhonda here in Lorrha in Tipperary, and we're here at the Priory of St. Peter the Martyr in Lorrha, Dominican Priory. So what do you think?
It's amazing. It's beautiful, and at every angle there's something that just absorbs your attention.
Yeah. Wait till we get inside.
I can't wait. It's amazing. Actually, the energy here is quite peaceful.
Yeah, it is quite peaceful. Kind of prayerful.
Yes, it is.
Okay guys, so this is us exploring around Lorrha, this beautiful monastic village in Tipperary. Rhonda was blown away by the ruins, how green it was, and this energy of Ireland, she said, was so palpable. But I want to explain that we never set out for this to be like going to historic locations and talking to spirits. This was literally two friends exploring Ireland together. We never really talked about what Rhonda was feeling or experiencing until later. So I wanted to leave this in to show you guys that this was not planned. This was not something we had in mind. It was two friends just meeting and me showing Rhonda how beautiful this country is. Next stop is Donegal Castle, a 16th century O'Kennedy castle, 3 kilometers east of Lora in Abbeyville, County Tipperary. As a paranormal investigator, I couldn't resist bringing Rhonda ghost hunting at night. This is the first time I witnessed Rhonda in action. The minute we stepped foot within the castle walls, she was greeted by a spirit named Gregor. Not only did this amazing communication occur, we also captured some paranormal activity. What are you feeling, Rhonda?
I feel a lot of energy. I was just going to say, even though I feel very warm, I am actually, I was trying to pan this way just to see if I could catch some energy around here, because I can feel it. If you want me to just go ahead and really truly tell you, somebody is here.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Anything that comes through.
Okay, so someone's here.
Okay.
Person is here. He said his name is Gregor. And he says, I minded the flock, he said. And he's over here. He doesn't have a lot of teeth. He's a very, very small looking man, but he says, I'm not frail. And he did take care of the animals in this area, he's telling me. And he actually lived with them. So he slept with them. And they were his family. He was by himself. I'm having a conversation with him right now. I'm asking him. So in my mind, I ask him questions, he answers, and then I tell you the answer. So I'm asking him in my mind, what was your family? He said, I didn't have any family. He said, the animals were my family.
Oh, wow.
Is there anything you want to ask him? Because he's very present.
Well, if you could ask him maybe to make a noise somewhere in the castle or
Okay,
something
make
physical.
his presence known?
Make his presence known,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I've asked him, so. I've asked him. I asked. And so we're here. He is very
What was
shy,
that?
but I told him he is very shy.
What?
He is very shy.
What's that?
He's telling me that if we go upstairs, he might feel more comfortable to let us know
Yeah.
he's here. Where he lived. He lived here. He ate here with them. He talked with them. They were his family. They were his children, he said.
Oh.
They were his children. He thought of the animals as his children. And he said, they kept
Hey.
me warm and I kept them fed, he just said.
Okay.
That's what he said, which I think is very loving.
How wonderful. And that is true. There would have been somebody taking care of the animals 24/7.
Yeah, he was here all the time.
We made our way up the spiral staircase and into the second room we can access in the castle. And as we were entering, I captured what I can only describe as a blue grayish figure moving and disappearing into the wall. I'd like to add that we were live. The footage is not as clear as I would like it to be as an investigator, but I found it interesting nonetheless. And again, none of this was planned. We were live, just sharing our experience with our followers. So Rhonda had only been in Ireland for 2 days at this stage, and I wanted to quiz Rhonda on her first impressions of the country I love. Is it what you dreamed of, Ireland?
It's far more tangible than I ever dreamed it could be.
Okay.
And I just never imagined how organically attainable the energy is here.
Okay.
I mean, literally, when I am at a place, yes, I'm a psychic medium. But I believe that even if you weren't a psychic medium, I think that you would feel the energy of the good and the bad, or just the bad.
Yes.
You know, you'd be able to feel this very tangible feeling of energy around me.
And does it live up to, say, the Americans' view of Ireland?
I would say that it's far richer than what I expected.
Okay. Very cool.
Definitely richer. And also I have to say it's been a real thick, beautiful frosting layer to have you with me, to be able to really share the history and the knowledge of beautiful Tipperary.
And one thing my Irish followers will always say, the Americans always say how green Ireland is, the Emerald Isle. Do you agree it's greener than a lot of places? Or
I've never been to a place that's been this green ever.
You were saying earlier that the shade of green
that I was
different.
Filming didn't touch the green that I could see with my eyes. Right. And even the lush, spongy, lush support of the green.
It's like a cushion, walking on like a mattress.
It really was. It was like walking on a thick green mattress that's like has an undercoating of clover.
We made our way down the spiral staircase once again into a small chamber just below the chapel. This is where Rhonda communicated with a female spirit. At the time, we had ended our live stream, and I got out one of my favorite apps I use while ghost hunting, GhostTube, and what happened was emotional, tragic, and absolutely fascinating.
The woods.
Invisible.
You know what? I know, hon, but you're not invisible. You're seen and you are heard now. And I honor you and respect you so much for that brave thing you did. And I know, you know what she says, after that first time she did it, she didn't feel anything after that until she was gone. She says, I didn't feel anything.
Wow.
And you were very brave and strong to do that. So brave and so strong. And honey, did I guess it right, sweetie, that it was over in the corner over there? Was that the place where you decided to be in control?
There was a light going across the camera, too. Can you show yourself as light?
There you
Oh,
go.
there we
There
go.
you go, sweetie. You're so beautiful. You'll always be beautiful. You know that?
See, you're not invisible.
No, you're not.
Oh, there we go again.
There you go, hon. So, sweetie, that was the corner over here, wasn't it? Against the wall. Straight ahead. I just don't know. I'm going to walk over there and ask her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweetie. I saw you on your knees right here. And I want to know, was it right here? Is this where it happened, honey? Or was it here? Because I feel your energy right there. So if that's where it was, you tell me, sweetie.
Oh, big light. And then lots of little lights over by you. Now, some of them could have been dust, but there was a big light.
Yeah. So you can be very proud of yourself because you took your life. You took your life into your hands. And you know what? That's not a sin. That's not a sin. There's no reason to ask for forgiveness. Your life is yours. No one can take it or give it. It belongs to you. You have the right to do what you want with your life. That is not a sin.
I hear you.
Good girl. Good girl, sweetheart. Good girl.
I'm glad I'm recording this.
And I've got to tell you, honey, that your hair was so beautiful. It was so long and straight and beautiful, all the way down to your thigh. He couldn't help but fall in love with you. He just couldn't help it. You were a match made in heaven, weren't you? He never married anyone else, did he? He just gave his life for you. He just continued to live his whole life. And I know you watched him, but you probably forget it. He never married another person. He stayed single his whole life and never had children. It was just you, honey. Yeah. I want you to feel happy, okay? And loved, because you are loved and you always will be loved. So I want you to stay happy. You were strong. You were a strong, strong, beautiful woman, and you made your choices. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing your story with me. Thank you.
After Lacking Castle, we travelled to the stunning Bakdev Abbey in County Meath, founded in 1147 for the Cistercian order by the King of Meath. This stunning location was used in the 1995 blockbuster Braveheart and most recently in the epic The Last Duel. Bakdev Abbey is a maze of rooms and staircases leading to nowhere. I was curious if Rhonda could pick up on any of the spirits that still wander this ancient site. She did not disappoint. As we wandered around Bakdev, two standout spirits came forward to communicate with Rhonda. There was a friar who baked all the bread for Bakdev. He was as wide as he was tall, a grumpy and unsociable man. He took great pride in baking his really good, sweet brown bread. He loved his work and told Rhonda that even in the middle of the hot summer, he baked day and night. Then we had the spirit of Mary come forward. Mary was a beautiful woman who was fond of a drink. She took care of gathering all the herbs and medicinal plants. She lived in a small hut close by the abbey. She had a small fire about 15 inches round that burnt continuously to dry out all of the plants and herbs. She would roll up the dried herbs and plants in a very thin white cloth and would present it to the monks. I was so surprised by the detailed accounts Rhonda was coming out with. She was describing the day-to-day life in medieval Ireland. In this moment, I knew I had to film Rhonda in every communication she had with spirit. And I did just that. We packed up the rental car and drove up north, 4 hours to Donegal. We were there to visit the incredible Donegal Castle, and I had my camera ready. In the heart of Donegal town, towering over the River Esk, is the stunning Donegal Castle. It was built in the 15th century by Red Hugh O'Donnell. Built as his personal fortress, Red Hugh O'Donnell was determined to make sure the castle never fell into English hands. He set it alight in the early 1600s. But to his horror, English captain Sir Basil Brooke became the castle's new lord in 1616. Sir Basil made some massive home improvements and built a manor house beside the tower. Bringing Rhonda to a place of such importance in Irish history was so exciting for me, but nothing could prepare me for what was about to happen. Rhonda began connecting to spirit the minute we parked the car. The spirit of a little boy and many other spirits were gathering around us, ready for their story to be told.
She was very solitary and stayed by herself. She's showing me scratches on her body up here from being slammed against the wall and raped. Stay there. It's not safe. Said it just wasn't safe for women here at all.
So Rhonda, even before we have stepped into the castle, which is right behind us, she can feel some energy coming through.
Oh yeah.
So tell us.
Okay, so I would have to say that right now, I kind of feel, I can feel the energy of when I say energy, I mean like spirits, people in the castle right now who just don't have a body. And it's almost like they know I'm here and they're saying, ooh, I can't wait to get here. I have things to tell you. I want to tell you my life story. Kind of like in the other experiences I had at Bakdev Abbey.
Bakdev Abbey, yes.
And a couple of the other places. Like I've seen so many abbeys and different, Lora Castle. Whew, you know, I mean, that energy is coming through really strong right now. And it just feels like these people want to be heard. They want to tell their own story. They might not be people that have been documented in history, but they were people who lived a very significant life to their own experience. In my gift, the way I communicate with spirit, they are just as real as you and I. Even if they lived a terrible life and they were not good people, or they were, you know, whatever they did, you're just feeling their energy. It's nothing more than you feeling their presence. And it's almost like when you put your hand into an ice cold bucket of water with cold ice, that shock feeling, it's a strong sensation, but it's not going to hurt you. And if you just adjust yourself and realize, oh, it's just a realization of a new frequency that I ordinarily do not feel, and don't feel like an evil spirit is following you home and you have to get something done to get it away from you, or clear your house, or bad things are happening. Spirit's just trying to let you know it's there. It's just trying to let you know it's there. And in most cases, for most people, what they're experiencing really is their grandmother, their aunt, their uncle, their sister, their child, whoever, saying they moved the glass, or it fell over, or they knocked a picture off the wall to say, oh my gosh, I used all my energy to do that, to let them know I'm here. And then you may have been thinking of them for the past couple of days, and then they did that. It's not an evil spirit in your house. It's them trying to connect with you and touch you and let you know I'm here. So in this place, because of my ability, the way I can connect with spirit, they find out that I can actually hear them and I'm not afraid of them because they're just people without a body. They're able to tell their real story. And so when I go in a castle, after we left Bakdev Abbey, we had a lovely two lovely people come through that I could feel their energy there, but they were very quiet there. And I wasn't able to communicate with them there. They were just kind of taking me in, watching me, because I'm sure they're used to people. Actually, where people can be very offensive to them because they're people. We don't want to offend them. We be respectful to them and their life, their journey, their experience. And so when we left, a lovely sweetheart, an angel came through, Mary. Her name is Mary. And
Wild Mary.
Yeah, and she's like come through quite a few times and even interrupted some communication I was having with my dad and kind of stepped in there. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Why is this weird? And I'm like, Mary, is that you? And she's like, yes. Yeah. And she's just happy to have somebody talk to her and recognize her and give her a voice. And so really, honestly, what I feel is happening right now is like I can feel, but they're actually crowding out here. I can feel them. There's a lot of people out here and they're crowding around and they're from different eras and different genres, different circas. And they're crowding in ready to connect with me because they're like, I want to say who I am. I want to say what I did. I want to say, there is a little boy out there and he's got buckets of water. So he's standing out there. There's an older gentleman with a very nice coat with buttons. I think he might actually be a butler because he looks fancy, but I don't think he's a nobleman or anything. And he's happy and excited. There's a lot of people out here. So I think they just are excited to be able to pipe in and tell me their stories. And so I'm really, really excited. I can't wait to get in. And I will do a plug for Dan McGeorge in I first found out about this very gifted photographer in he has a gallery in Coronado, Coronado, California, in San Diego, California. It's Coronado Island, and he has a gorgeous gallery. And there was just something that spoke to me. I probably bought this beautiful, beautiful gallery photo, framed, gorgeous, like nearly a decade ago. And there was something that just called out to me and I didn't know where it was. I didn't know anything about it, but I just knew there was energy there and I needed to go. I actually got to speak with the artist and he told me that was at Castle, the Donegal. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Donegal, yeah.
Donegal, okay. That was at Castle Donegal. And I knew with all of my heart that I would have to make this pilgrimage here so that I could connect with the energy and the beautiful people who have passed away and hear their stories. So I am very excited and I can't wait to share with you everything they share with me. Hanging tree right there.
This tree here is a hanging tree.
The one nearest to us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's telling me right now, the little boy, he's got 2 wooden buckets and they're like little planks that are ribbed together to make his buckets. He's holding, they're like rope handles, and he goes, miss, that's the hanging tree. And he says that they would hang people there, and then they would cut the line and toss them in the water, and they would flow down the river.
Wow. Look at this place.
Did this ever catch on fire?
It's very possible.
I feel flames. I feel a lot of heat right now. Like hot heat. Yeah, there's definitely, I feel like there's a huge fire.
Look at them kind of turrets jutting out.
Yes, they are.
They're amazing. And the caravans here. Just wow. Isn't that incredible?
This was not a great place. This is not.
No?
No. The energy here it's very ominous. It's not pleasant.
Okay. I can see it in your
were,
eyes.
Very oppressed and like, I mean, there's tortures here.
Torture.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay. Well, let's go in and have a look, guys. It is so beautifully sunny. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. How amazing.
I've got an older gentleman right now. He worked for the he's saying Lord, but he's saying it in a different way. Like the Lord of the Castle, he's saying the Laird.
Laird of the
Laird.
castle.
Okay. And he's not from here. He said he's from further north, like up in Scotland area. And he is here. He worked here, and he was like his job was to trap rabbits, and he kept traps all over to bring in food, and that was his job. And he has a very thick Scottish accent.
Oh wow.
Very, very, very good. His name is Michael.
Michael. Hello, Michael.
He's a small man, very wiry and strong, and he actually, wow. Okay, so he's showing me himself. He would climb trees and just sit in the tree, and okay, so he's very proud of the way that he caught animals, because he didn't, he said that his meat was, the meat that he brought in was fresher and sweeter because he would coax it in and capture it and then kill it.
Okay.
And he would like, he said, he's showing me, he would sit in a tree and jump on a doe. Like he would jump on the doe and hold her and then coax her down. It was almost like he was whispering to her, calming her down. And then he would tell her, thank you. And he said, so he says, he would thank her for her. And the meat was sweeter. They always said the meat was sweeter from him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've just literally walked into the first room of the castle. It's like a vaulted ceiling, almost like kind of like a cellar. There is historical kind of replicas here of like old barrels. I'm not sure if they're original, but it's just incredible. Like we can just walk around this castle freely. There's no kind of tour guide, which I really appreciate, because sometimes tour guides, you can't really be yourself. But it's just beautiful. So let me see. The ground floor level storerooms. So these were storerooms, which would make sense to what you were saying, Rhonda, that this is where he would have brought his kill.
Yeah, he laid them out. He's showing me a table. He had them all laid out, and he would talk to them. He'd say, there you are, my beauties. He'd call them my beauties. And they're laid down. And even after they were dead, he would pet them and say thank you. And he had so much respect for life.
Wow.
Yeah. And he always said, he goes,
amazing.
I never took a life. They always gave it.
They gave the life.
He said they gave it. I never took it.
Wow. So he's a proud hunter.
He is, and he's honorable.
Honorable.
He had a lot of respect in his hunt.
So yeah, the ground floor stores in Donegal Castle.
Wow, thank you, Michael.
The amount of energy here, and I am not a medium in any way, shape, or form, but I can feel it in my chest.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming
he's
how many
here.
is here, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in that video that I took, he jumped right across the screen. I'll show you. Let's see here. Let me get over here the first. Over here. So he'd be right here in the very beginning. Well, wait a minute. That's when I.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Michael. He said, I almost said little Michael. He said, don't call me little, I'm strong. He says, I'm mighty. He says, I'm mighty. Yeah, you can see him go right across there. He was quite large when he came across, didn't he? Let's come back over here. Go to the beginning of this. There we go. There, that's where he was. There he goes.
Okay, guys, I think Rhonda is picking up on something. So, let's go see what she has to say. You feeling something, Rhonda?
Oh, yeah. There's a woman, she's very afraid, and, I mean, she was, I would say she was a noble woman. She was beautiful, and you could tell, well dressed, and she's very afraid. She said that this would be in the early stages. It'd be like the 1400s. I don't know how old this part of the castle is, but this is like 1400s, but she's telling me.
Okay.
And she said it just wasn't safe for women here at all. And she's showing me on her body scratches, like of being pushed and shoved against. She's being shoved. She's telling me to feel how rough this is. She said that was on my naked skin. And then she said across here, she's showing me scratches on her body up here from being slammed against the wall and raped. And she's a noble woman here.
Wow.
Yeah. And she just has this anxiety in her chest.
Do you have any name with her?
Sarah.
Sarah.
There's another name. I want to say Jane.
Sarah Jane?
Yeah. I need to turn that on. Yeah, Sarah Jane.
My goodness.
Yeah, she said that was not the first time. And she said, she just ended up just staying in her room. She just ended up never leaving her room. And they would just bring her food. She'd stayed in the room, and she really, really, really misses the time when she could just wander as a child and a young girl. She would be able to wander through like the woods and be in nature. She misses being in nature. So
and how did these...
she has a person who helped her. Her name was Nettie.
It would, lady in waiting, probably.
Okay, well,
that type of character.
She called her Nettie, and she said she would always bring nature into her.
Okay.
And so she would bring in flowers and plants and tear them and just have them in the room.
So what do you see when a spirit comes to you and they want to talk to you? Do you just get an image in your mind of how she would look, or
oh yeah, it would be
an impression of she's a female?
Oh no, she's like, she comes to me just as clear as day as you. It's just I can see through her.
Okay.
So she's actually standing right here next to you. She's right here.
Hello, Sarah.
Yeah, she's right here. Lady, you want to call her Lady?
Lady Sarah.
Yeah,
Sorry, Lady
definitely
Sarah.
Call her Lady Sarah.
Milady.
Yes. Well, she said don't call her Milady.
Oh.
She said just say
Lady
Sarah,
Sarah,
because she said you don't have the right to call her Milady.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, Sarah. Or Lady Sarah. Oh my God, I'm going to get killed by the ghost.
No, you're not. She's a lovely lady. She's a lovely lady.
Okay.
But she's no, she's standing right here. So basically, I can see her. She's this tall. She's this tall. She's kind of thin. She's very beautiful. She has brown eyes and like a reddish brown hair. It's definitely like an auburn, not quite that dark, but in the sun it would just really come on fire. She I'm asking if she ever had any children. She does. She had a boy and a girl. William. She had them close together. They're little kids running around, and they were wild and free, she says. She just keeps showing me the hallway, the corridor where she said where he took me. She said when she says took, like took her, raped her. That's what she meant. But she's saying where he took me. And she said he was hairy, and she's showing me him, and he just was grizzly and had like spaces between his teeth. And now she showed me that, but she says, yeah, find the roughest stone. She goes, when you touch these stones, they're rough. She goes, can you imagine how rough they were when I was here? When they were first hewn, she said. When they were first hewn, they were very rough.
So you think we should head up and maybe try and find this area where...
Well, we can't go to her area. She said there's no floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up high. And she would look down.
Well, thank you, Lady Sarah. Okay. I suppose we go upstairs?
Yeah, let's do it. You lead the way.
Okay.
Ooh, spirit is strong here. Very strong. I'll let you go all the way up.
Some fireplaces.
She's warning us that as we climb the stairs, we need to use our hands to hang on. She didn't like you going out and not holding onto a rail. She said there are malicious energies that contribute.
Okay, okay.
So, I'm just hanging on. Also, she said these would be much lower. She said it was almost, she said they're about down, this wasn't that big, but it was down here. And she said it was over here. Really much shorter. Wow, look at that.
It's a little fireplace.
Yes, it is.
And look, that's how the ceiling would have looked, I'm guessing. Wooden.
Yeah.
They would have had to restore it very carefully.
She's showing me twigs and stuff underneath the, in between. There's like little twigs, and she said that birds would even nest in there, and they liked it. They felt it was good luck. And actually, I can hear doves. Coo, coo. You know, the warbling kind of. I can hear them. So they would, you can hear it. Oh, they would collect their eggs.
Right.
I didn't know that was a thing. The children played in here, in this area. I can hear them in here.
You can hear children playing.
They're laughing. Her two children, the little boy's William. She won't tell me the little girl's name yet. Maybe she'll come through. But she said they were just best friends, inseparable. I believe they were twins because their head heights are very, very, very nearly the same.
Okay, well, I'm going to hold on to the railing, guys, because the railings they're actually wet. They're wet and condensation, I think.
Definitely take a picture of that, because that would have been a fine example of how those were used with the support. That's a great example.
So we would have seen these in castles all over Ireland, guys, where, you know, in my videos I always explain would have been a roof or a floor. It's very interesting to see it.
It is.
In it working, like.
You can see, you know, like right there, this is jutting out, just a piece of stone jutting out from the structure, and then it's acting as a brace for this board. Amazing. And you know what's crazy? Even with all the weight of the whole ceiling and roof on this board, it's still swelling up.
Yeah.
It's still swelling, even with the weight of all this on it. That just shows the strength, the moisture and humidity of it, for it to still swell, even with all the weight on it.
Wow. Okay, let's go in here and have a look. Oh my goodness. Wait till See this fireplace? Oh wow. Yeah.
It's pristine.
It's beautiful.
And so these are rosettes.
Yeah.
And would they be have been represented of England, or would they be
It
representative
could, no, these are clans people.
of the rose?
Maybe in the 1600s this could have been built because it
Because it
isn't
looks
such
so much newer. It's so
Yeah.
nice.
Let's find out actually.
There's a coat of arms right there.
It symbolizes the English crown.
I knew it was English. Somebody
Yeah.
was telling me it was English.
And near the base is Scottish thistle, emblem of King James.
Okay.
So let me try and find them for you guys. Some Scottish thistle. I don't really know what I'm looking for, but maybe this is it. Maybe that. Whoa. I've never been to a castle like this anyway. Look at this table.
Okay. She's telling me she didn't hardly ever experience or live in this room. And she said up in here there was a stone that she could take out, and there was stuff in there. She would get notes from someone, which doesn't make any sense. I'm thinking it's a fireplace, but she said no. There was stuff hidden back there. Maybe even a key, actually. I don't know. Couldn't be notes. It would catch on fire. How could it be notes? Maybe during the time of year. I don't know,
Could
but they
have been.
cooked in here. They would cook. This was cooking. And fire for warmth. It was like a great room. And there was things, all over the floor. But there was a lot of noise, talking and like, I don't want to say carousing, because not really carousing, but it was just active, very active, like a huge family room.
Okay.
But she says, I didn't partake of any of that, she said. She stayed in her room.
Wow.
Something, I want to say, she says notes, but I don't think it was notes. Okay, she's showing me right now. There was love notes being left to her. I kept saying that couldn't happen, that it would burn up. And she said, no, it was love notes. And I said, well, what do you mean, how? And so now she just showed me one of the stones would come out, Nettie, because she never came down here.
Okay.
She didn't mingle or anything. She was very solitary and stayed by herself after that scarring she has on her front chest. And she said Nettie would come down, and she had a sweetheart that she loved her whole life. She said his name was Brian. And he left her. They had a secret code of communication of when to meet, and she said we would meet under the moonlight, and so only on well-lit nights. But when they'd have a full moon with more light or enough light in there, he would leave her 2 stones to go meet him they had a tree that they had, okay? And if it was 3, he said, stay, don't go. Stay there, it's not safe. 2, because of them 2 together. And she would go meet him. But there was always 2 stones or 3, 2 or 3. That was
Wow.
That was her communication. And it was she said that that ledge went in deeper on the side, and it was within reach because Nettie wasn't very tall. Nettie was really little, she was like 3.5 feet high. She was very, very small.
Okay.
And so she'd go in there. It was within ability for her to grasp it and tell her.
Spectacular. Beautiful. Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing. This is like one of the nicest spirals I've been on so far. The lavatory.
Yeah, so guys, this is the garderobe, a medieval toilet, where you can see
got it. Yeah.
where they did their business.
Mother Nature.
Yes. Nice. There was a small room containing a wooden seat with a hole in it. Waste would fall down a chute built into the castle wall and into the pit into the ground below. This would have been very smelly. To me, this looks like a musket loop.
Okay.
From the 1600s, you can see, if I can bring you guys up a bit further, we might be able to zoom in and pick up where it's pointing to. So it's pointing at the walls. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Rhonda, picking up anything?
Flies.
Flies? Smell.
I'm just joking.
You don't think people stay
I don't
here?
think people stay here. I don't feel anything in here.
In and out, in and out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. I ain't gonna stay and smell people's poop all day. Look at this door. Like the doors in Lacking Castle, this is what would have been
It
there.
would have been.
Yeah. Staircase is just magnificent.
It really is.
It is a really nice trip staircase. Okay, we're back on the ground floor again.
Original doorway. Right here.
Yes, this was the original doorway. I wonder, is this locked? Yeah. Whoa.
So much.
They never see the two of us together on
They
video.
don't, but they need to. That's how we see everything.
Oh my goodness, we have a doggy. We have a doggy walking around the castle.
Where Michael.
This is the room where Michael
This
was.
is where Michael.
I think we're going to go up the spiral staircase one more time.
Yeah, let's do that.
And it's just incredible how well preserved this castle is. In Tipperary there is preserved castles, but this one, the fireplace, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen an intact garderobe. For me it's very exciting because, especially to show Rhonda around places like this, it makes me proud to be Irish. But also, me personally, you know how much I love history and old buildings. And I think this place, it's just spectacular. I'd move in tomorrow. I would live here in a heartbeat. I'm sure there is dark energy here, as Rhonda stated. And if we were here overnight, can you imagine what would come true? Yeah. But you know, this video in particular, I'm not getting out any gadgets. I'm not going to do any of that stuff because it's about talking to spirit. And I'm so lucky enough to have Rhonda. Okay.
I'm lucky enough to have my friends that come through. They really
so
are
lucky.
my friends. They're my friends. And even when we were communicating with me, you know, she said friend. So it's a...
It's just, for me, it's been a dream of mine to walk around these locations with a medium. And when the paranormal stuff happens, it's amazing, but...
Well, paranormal stuff is always happening.
It's always happening,
It's just that sometimes they don't... sometimes I'm not able to build up enough strength to show themselves. And I think when, like when Michael showed himself down below, he's here and has visitors come through all the time, but he sensed a friend coming.
Okay, so when Rhonda starts doing this, guys, I know it's time to get my ass in order. Ooh, mushy. Very mushy. Right there? Okay.
His name was Pod. The little boy's Pod.
Pod.
Pod?
Short for Podrick, maybe.
Okay. And he says, there it is. He said, there it is, miss. That's the tree, right here.
He's really... Do you think he knew someone who got hung?
He watched people.
He watched?
He watched
Well, that
people.
was part of tradition.
He watched it, and he always stayed away and watched from a distance. But he was the water boy, and he would carry back and forth, back and forth. I think it's P-O-G. Pog.
P-O-G.
He called himself Pog.
Yeah,
They called
yeah,
him Pog.
okay.
And he says, yes, miss, that's where it was. And they would just slice them down. And I said, wouldn't they save the rope? I mean, they have to keep making rope. He goes, no, they left it around their neck to make sure people knew that they died from hanging.
Wow.
Otherwise, it could have just been a dead body flowing in the river, and it would let people downstream know, hey, this is what happens.
After Donegal Castle, I knew I had to bring Rhonda to one of Ireland's most famous landmarks, the Rock of Cashel, home to the High Kings of Ireland and scene of the sack of Cashel, also known as the Massacre of Cashel. During the Irish Confederate War, the town was besieged and taken by an English Protestant parliamentarian army. The attack was brutal and cold. The residents of Cashel, terrified, fled to the fortress that is the Rock of Cashel, in the vain hope that they would survive behind its strong walls. The attackers approached the rock, but the residents of Cashel were not going without a fight. They defended the castle by throwing rocks at the invaders, but eventually the parliamentarians fought their way in and over the walls. Parliamentarians then placed ladders against the many windows of the church. After this, the invaders stormed the building, killing every man, woman, and child inside. A small number of women survived, but were stripped of their clothes. The bodies in the churchyard were described by a witness as being 5 or 6 deep. With such a tragic history, I wondered, how will Rhonda cope?
Someone's coming forward right now.
There's something bothering you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bride is here.
I think Rhonda is picking up on something. She legs it when she is picking up on something, so I'm gonna go here and see what's going on.
He told me to come over here. Oh, here, that's what I lost. This is a soldier. He was a defending soldier for the castle, and he said that there was, of course, there's always people who are trying to storm and come in, but he's telling me to come around here, and I'll be able to see along the wall. And he said that this area right here was very weak. He says, as low as you think it would be over there, he said, even though it's higher here, he's telling me that the view from there was more difficult to see them scaling. So he said that this right here was very, very vulnerable to attack from people scaling the hill, the wall, and coming in. He said they would spill over here he said they would slosh out like your beer sloshes out of a tankard. He's telling me they would just over in waves, he said.
Do you have a name?
Here.
Bit weird.
It's F-A-R-N-A-G
Farrick.
Something like that. I can't pronounce it.
We'll go with Farrick for now.
Farrick. Yeah, that sounds about right. And he said he's a knight. He's a knight.
Okay.
He's tall. He's a knight. And he said this part here was the most vulnerable because they couldn't see.
What are you hearing?
He's just showing me a video of them just scaling over, and I guess they would like someone would be on the bottom. There would be 2 side by side of the bad guys. He said they would stand like, he's showing me thumbs in, thumbs out. He's showing me this. Let me move my hand. he said that there'd be like on the base of the bad guys coming in. He said they would plant their feet like this, squat down and go like this so that their arms faced out, and they would go foot by foot by foot, and that would be like this, and then others would step their foot here and make it would be a two-tier base, he's telling me, of the foundation, and then people would run up, jump on another person's back and come up, and but the base would always stay the same, and these were the strongest men, and these men never ever ever entered. If they ever broke through, these guys didn't come in, they would always come around the front. And this castle has been breached. It has.
Okay.
And so he says that they would come here and they'd run around that side and come in, and then these guys would come in, and then he said that they would use their brute strength like this to batter. He's showing me them doing that to get in, break through the door, and then boom, it's over. But he said, yeah, they had definitely been breached, and they would come through here, and I'm asking him, what they do did they come up close and pour things over? And he said it was too far of a trek for hot things, like hot oil. He said you can't do that. He said, but they would throw down these big, like granite blocks, almost like the bricks it took to build that. They would have a bunch of extra like foundational, not foundational, like the stuff they would make the walls with. That's what they used to throw over the side. But he said after they learned that this was a weak area, he's showing me about this high, around here to like around this little bend, from there to about right here. He's showing me a wooden, it's not a scaffold, but it's like a wooden walking, like a guard's walking. They would patrol along here, and he said it would come about this, probably about this high. That way, he said, I said like high, he says, no, like this high. He said that way, if attack ever did happen, they'd have plenty of room to lay down, redo their arrows, and do what they needed to do. They could hide here and still, he said, and still have protection.
Okay.
For, be able to protect themselves. And then when they're on patrol, they'd walk back and forth, like a sentry duty, kind of. He used to do sentry, but then he's kind of in charge of, he became in charge. He was in charge. But yeah, that's who.
Okay.
That's what.
So your first spirit, a soldier named Farrig, and this castle was breached. Okay. So I think what we'll do, we'll make it into the main chapel.
Okay.
And I want to see what you pick up in there.
Okay. And then how do I get there? Just,
yeah, we can walk around again.
Okay.
Or
scale up here, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. Why do I always wear Converse? Nice ass shot, Rhonda.
I feel like Bridget Jones coming down the fire pole. Oh my God, no!
Okay.
In the future, no. Because you see, if you're standing here, you can't see.
Yes, okay.
You cannot see.
Look at that view.
Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous.
There's Hor Abbey, where we were yesterday, guys. Okay.
Wow, look at this landscape. But someone was thrown out there. It was a man who was thrown out.
So someone was thrown out from the top there. Okay, let's make our way over to the chapel. Okay. It is very ominous and large.
Wow. It is...
First impression?
Power, authority.
Okay.
The final say.
The final say. So we're making our way into the chapel. And when I say chapel, what kind of washes over you when I say chapel?
Well, in my logic mind, I think a place of worship.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I don't feel that here. I don't feel that. But let's wait till I come inside.
Okay. Wow.
So it would be over there, is that correct?
Yes. So we're in the audience there.
I don't really feel it when you said lottery, and I mean, I know it was, you're telling me that it was a chapel, but I see this as, I feel, okay, so what's happening right now is okay, so I see men of importance who are not men of God, men of importance, men who speak of strategic conversations of battle, war, etc. A lot of that's happening in here. There, and even when service is being held, sacraments are being given, etc. It's like the king of this castle, and I think all the following kings felt that they had more authority and they could do what they wanted to do. So I feel like it was more a battle. These were more knights. This is more war. This is a war. Like I would honestly, you know what I want to call this? The war room. It doesn't feel like a chapel to me. It feels like only I feel like this is where the defenders of the castle would come to worship for blessing and strength and protection from the saints. I believe that this was mainly, I really do. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm seeing lots of strong, powerful, strategic, intelligent men in here. And they're coming together for the protection, wisdom, and strategy from God to be endowed, given to them as they battle. And this, I just don't see this really as being, I feel like there's just a lot of soldier energy in here. There's soldier energy in here. And it's like they're like it's like holy wars. Like they feel that they're fighting for the good. They're fighting for the, and you know what? I think they were.
Okay.
I think they were.
And can I ask?
Yes.
Would they come here to pray before going to fight?
Yes.
Okay.
They would pray for protection, and also these men were unafraid. These men were not afraid of dying. Their thoughts were, if I lose my life in this battle, that's what I was born for. And
they were chosen for it.
Full speed ahead, and I'm going to make sure that my steel is strong and sharpened, and that I am paying attention, and all of my senses are alert. And they would pray to the saints for protection. They would ask for forgiveness of all trespasses before they went, because they. Okay, so like I said before, I am not Catholic. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. But I'm hearing something being told to me. I don't even know this is a thing, but I keep hearing the word pre-sacrament. I keep hearing pre-sacrament. I keep hearing, it's almost as if they were given their last rites before the chance of death, so that their soul was clean. That's what I'm feeling. And yeah, this is war energy. This is energy of like there's like this is the soldiers. This is like the soldiers.
What can you smell?
Chapel.
What can you smell?
I smell incense.
Incense?
I smell it. It's very strong. It actually hurts my sinuses.
Do you feel anybody
Perfumey.
would have died in here?
I think there are a lot of dead people in here who went to war. I feel like at one point when the castle had been breached, there were a lot of disrespectful things happened in here.
Okay.
Very, very disrespectful things happened in here. But you know what the thing is with this castle? The energy I feel is resilience. Resilience and almost the sense of them knowing that, you know what? You may have got your one, but we're going to get the rest. Someone's coming forward right now, and he did take, he took the cloth, he said. I took the cloth, but then he said his calling became stronger, and to fight and defend, and he was a holy soldier. He was a man of God fighting. So he's showing me himself welding a sword, very heavy. And so he fought, and yet he was a man of God. So when I could see him now, when they would be in battle, he would actually give people sacrament, the last rites. He would do last rites. I don't know if sacrament's the right word, but he would like bless them before, as they passed on into the next life.
So would you have been like a head knight in a way, or
no, not at all. He was almost like he was a clergy knight, kind of.
A religious. There were religious knights.
He was a man of God. He was endowed with authority to liberate the soul. He's telling me. These are tombs.
Yeah. So a very important man, a knight, would have been buried here. And you can see here, I think it's the 12 apostles that are around him.
He was a holy knight.
A holy knight.
He was a holy knight.
Could have been the man we were talking about.
He was a holy knight. Could it be George?
George? Mm-hmm.
It could be George, very possibly.
Jeebus, you're looking a bit. So these are quite popular in abbeys across Ireland, and one of the main knights of the area would have been buried in a tomb like this. So important, right in the chapel. And again, another very important.
These are tombs.
These are quite stunning.
These are bodies are here.
Bodies are here?
Bodies are here. Yeah, bodies are here.
So guys, I'm just going to show you some of the artwork here. I think these are saints. They could be the 12 apostles. They're all holding different objects. So this one is very medieval in style, almost Tudor, which is unusual for Ireland. And over here, you can see the fish, coat of arms, very pretty.
Sounds weird, and it feels weird for me to say this, but when we were looking at this here, I would automatically assume that was a man. I don't think that's a man there.
Okay.
I think a woman is there.
Okay.
I honestly feel peace. I feel peace.
You feel peace?
I feel peace, like people are at rest, and they've, it's almost like they knew when something was happening to them, that their soul was safe.
So they accepted their demise.
They did.
They were in the Lord's house.
They were, and they said
they felt safe.
Felt like they feel honored to have been able to even die that way.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay, so guys, I want to show you, these are some of the original artwork that was found here on the wall. So this is what it would have looked like, and that is it, what remains. It's actually quite amazing to think you're looking at such old art. You can still see Jesus's hand up there. His body, it's quite amazing. There's something bothering you.
Yeah.
Is
yeah,
what?
Okay, so
Does it not feel right to you?
Well, something happened on that day. It wasn't just an invasion. It wasn't just just an invasion by Cromwell. There was a wedding that was in process.
Okay. You okay?
The bride is here.
Okay.
There was a wedding in process, and that's, she feels so guilty. She feels so much guilt because she said they would have had much more trouble gathering all of these people in here if it hadn't been
To defend the castle.
for the wedding. They came for the wedding. They came for the wedding. They planned the wedding. There was a wedding planned here, and so all these people were not. The people, she's telling me, the people weren't corralled in here and forced in here. People willingly came in because they knew a wedding was going to be happening, and she's feeling really. She doesn't care that she died, and she died with her sweetheart.
She feels responsible.
She feels highly responsible. She goes, this many people wouldn't have been locked in here if it hadn't been for the wedding.
Okay.
And it's funny because she says that she didn't really want this big to-do. She wanted a quiet wedding at night, and she says, my husband Knight, she calls him, said, no, you deserve a church wedding in the daylight, and we will be proud to have our union in the sunlight. And then this is what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I am. It's just, I'm trying to talk to her and tell her that it wasn't her fault. And he's with her right now too, and he says it wasn't, he doesn't take ownership. He says, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't our love's fault. It was Cromwell.
Wow.
She's wearing this gauzy, it's like covering only half of her face. It's coming down here, and it just kind of drapes to here. Like her lips are still visible, and she has these flowers that are pressed into her sweet head, and you see this little top of her head. And she felt very sick to her stomach all morning, and her mother was telling her it was just nerves, and she gave her orange blossoms to chew on. To soothe her stomach. And when she died, that's what she tasted. In her teeth. Like I can feel it. The petals of the orange blossoms are in her teeth. Yeah.
They came to celebrate love.
They came to celebrate love.
Okay.
They didn't regret being here. And actually the people were saying, now I can hear them. Now I can hear them. They're saying, we didn't die for nothing. We died for love.
Conquered this land and the people and tried to absolutely.
He was physically here.
He was physically here. This is one of the main places. His troops were here. He used to have babies that would be on spikes, pikes they'd call them, and walk around to scare the locals. He was known to hang people from the castle walls as a deterrent for other people who were going to uprise against England and keep their kingdoms and their chieftains, and well, their kings and chieftains, high kings, chieftains, it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, Cromwell came here, and this chapel is one of the most famous places in Ireland for what happened here. It was a massacre, and what Rhonda's been picking up makes so much sense. It would have been an ambush. I'm sure they wouldn't have known they were coming. She picked up on a night on the outside of the wall near the entrance at the wall at the back there. And obviously she was picking up on the energy of Cromwell coming. He was coming, and they were getting ready to fight. But they would have all hidden here, all the people around the village in Cashel. They would have thought they were safe in God's house. You have to remember, religion is so important to these people. This wasn't if it's real. It is real. They believed more than we could ever imagine that God had his way and his will, and their faith was so strong. They would have died for God. And in here, they would have felt safe. They would have felt like God will protect them. But sadly, God was taking a break. So these are some medieval kitchens.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the guy who was talking to me as we were driving up here. He's here right now. He's not going anywhere. So. That's another. What's down there? What would that be?
Probably the cellar.
Okay.
I suppose they could shout down to people to bring stuff up.
Yeah.
So, the King's Quarter.
I can actually feel it in here. I can feel the energy.
Okay. It is stunning, guys. You see all the little saints everywhere. Or I suppose there would have been always watching.
Beautiful.
So, tell me, what do you feel?
Oh, I can. His energies. I mean, I say he. I know there was a lot of. There's more than one king here. When I say king, I can feel his energy. Yes, but I know there were many kings here. Okay, I do acknowledge that. I understand that. However, the one I'm pulling up on is the same one that the priest at Hor Abbey, Francis, who was talking to me. This is the king's energy I'm feeling right now, and yeah, he's here. It's very. He was just such a down to earth. He didn't.
Not what you'd expect from
he was very,
medieval.
very down to earth. I would have to say that is something that really kind of annoyed Francis. That this king had so much power, authority, and realm that of the realm, you know, that he thought he should carry himself more pomp, I guess.
Okay.
But he didn't. He was just very down to earth. And this is noisy in here. Like the king is here. He didn't yell. But I would say he just wasn't boisterous. He was very down to earth. He wasn't the kind of man who wanted everybody to stop what they're doing and listen to him.
And what do you think would have happened up here?
I think that
Would it be
music is up there.
Yeah.
I do feel like music is up there, and
So they would have entertained the king.
Yeah, like there's children running around, children are playing, his wife is here, he's here, food's being brought, and his children would perform for him, and he just thought they were fantastic. He loved his kids. And up there, they did have, like, they had people playing music, and also, like, they were, like, poetry, where they were like speaking stories, like talking stories, if that makes any sense. But he loved that. He loved it. He loved it. He loved his life. He loved his life. And people loved him and respected him. The only ones that really didn't really like him so much were the smaller castles that were under his rule that were further away.
Okay.
They had a lot of resentment to him.
Well, they wanted to take power from him, I suppose, and maybe
they hated that he had hold over them, and he was so far away. They just felt that he didn't know enough about them to rule them from a distance. They felt like they could rule themselves.
So I think these things here, guys, they're eavesdroppers. They are God's eyes watching, angels in every corner. So be careful what you say in this room. You are being heard.
Wow.
You can see here kind of a depiction of a king, a knight by his side, a child, a woman, a maiden.
You know, he would hear people. People would come forward with problems that needed to get solved, and he was patient, and he would listen to them.
He was loved.
A bit like Solomon, a little bit, you know, in a way that he would just be very, very down to earth, very simple, just like, it's not that difficult. Let's just do this, this, and this. And he was very fair and respected.
Okay. Last but not least is the beautiful Rhondda Abbey, located near the Rock of Cashel in County Tipperary. The name Rhondda means yew tree, unfortunate as it is. Known as Ireland's last medieval Cistercian abbey, it was founded in 1272. The spirits of Rhondda Abbey were ready and waiting for Rhonda's arrival. We're in Rhondda Abbey in Cashel in County Tipperary, and Rhonda is just picking up on something.
There is a man here. I called him a gentleman, but he shakes his head no. He says I'm a man of God, and I can see just by how he's dressed that he would be. And again, please forgive me for not using the proper like terms, phrases, etc. But
so I'll give you the terms. Okay, it would have been Benedictine or Cistercian.
Well, he wouldn't. He says Benedictine. He said it's not that. So Cistercian.
Cistercian, yep.
Would that be somebody more power?
The Benedictines were thrown out of here, and the Cistercians took over.
Okay, so he says that he doesn't.
Different branches of the church.
Okay, so when you said Benedictine, he went like this. He spit. He spit. And he thinks of them as just an embarrassment and beneath him and like dogs and just not up to his level and like an embarrassment. He says he is harsh. He's saying an embarrassment to Christ and the sacrament, and he's kind of a aggressive, mean, condescending sort of energy about him. He's got a big belly. He's got very full cheeks. He has a bald head, and
how old do you think he is?
He's older.
Older man.
I would say he's. I mean, I don't know how old they live, but I mean, I'd have to guess. He's definitely in his. I'd say he's approaching 40.
Yeah.
And even his hands are fat. His fingers. He's like how he touches things. He goes like this, but he didn't approve of. It's so funny. He's talking about the castle over here, Cash.
Mm-hmm.
Cashel?
Cashel.
He says Cash. He calls it Cash.
Cash.
He says he's talking about Cash right now, and he said that he felt that the way that he was treated here was not at the level of respect that he deserved. If they only knew, he said, who I am. He says, I didn't have to come here. I could have gone anywhere.
Okay.
And he feels very put off and very disrespected, but he just tries to. I don't think he does a lot, but he wants a lot. He has a lot of power. He loves his power. He loves his clout. He said he really kept to himself. He said he kept his own faith in his rooms and in a smaller, and he would come out here to do the services. See if I can ask him any other questions. Is there anything that you would like to ask him? He's here.
What do you think of me?
He doesn't. He said we would have never been allowed to behave like you. He said.
Okay.
But I think that he is gay.
Okay.
He is gay, but he's I mean, he didn't tell me he was gay, but I can kind of tell how he is.
Yeah.
But he's like, he does this a lot. And I can hear singing.
You can hear her singing.
I can hear singing. I can hear, like, it sounds like monks chanting, honestly. It's what it sounds like. And it's like, ah, ah. That's what they're singing right now.
Yep.
And in that tune, it almost makes me look. It almost makes me look. It almost makes me look.
You okay?
Can you hear that? Can you hear it?
No.
I almost felt like crying right then. I think someone's died. Someone important's died. Okay, so now he's taking me to another time. And the king of that castle has died. And he is the one who is conducting the ceremonies and the sacraments of his death. And I can see him. He's doing it.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of solemn about it. And I would have, the way he was showing himself before, I would have thought maybe he'd be cocky and in his mind saying disrespectful things, but he wasn't. He wasn't at all. He's actually doing his job and guiding his soul into heaven. He's taking it very, very seriously. So that makes me feel better, because I think that how he was showing me himself before, it almost seemed like he didn't respect how sacred and, you know, religion and all of that, and him being in the place where he is, but now he is, and it's like you can hear wailing. I can hear people far away outside the building, just screaming and moaning and crying. I hear all this sound, and I hear bells I hear bells, very loud echoes of bells, and crying and moaning. There is no singing.
The
There's no
bell
singing
tower
right now.
would have been right up there.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it would have been
Yeah,
very
it was
loud.
very, very, very loud.
Do you want to move forward through the
Yes.
energy and just have a walk around?
And there were just, I guess there was, okay, so he's telling me that they kept he's telling me that they kept the king's body in, for viewing for about a month, he said. And he said that gave the people from the nearby castles and other lords and stuff to make a pilgrimage here to attend his funeral. So like today, right now, I can feel, I don't mean the date in our time, but right now I am at the funeral right now.
Okay.
I am at the funeral, and I can hear moaning and wailing and the bells just haven't stopped. The bells just keep going. He said further out, so further out, like, let's see where he's showing me. By the way, he's about like this tall.
Okay.
Beyond that tree line there, you see where that tree line is? He wouldn't let, because he said that there were vendors coming. He said that there were vendors coming and trying to capitalize and make money on all of the people who came over here to attend the burial of this king and the funeral of this king. And he said that they were encroaching in, coming in, and he said that that he had to set his foot down, and he said not beyond that tree line. So this was filled, all of this area, there were tents out here, lots and lots of tents, And people would even have some people who had more money, they would bring a wagon, and in some way, I don't know how it is, but they would actually prop up sticks, he's showing me, like they had a wagon that had a wheel, and that's it on each side, 2 wheels. And it's this flat wagon that was probably from here to like here, okay? And it was probably from here to here. It wasn't very wide. It's probably like 4.5 feet wide, something like that. Their wife, their children, and them. And these were people who were like wealthier people from other castles, other areas that were underneath his rule. The king that just died, and I see them peppered all over. Not even peppered, even more than that. Like it's filled out there, this whole area, and they had these. Oh, he's just being so cooperative right now. They had these flat beds with very large wheels. About like here, so the front was more out with nothing underneath it, and there was like a thing they could prop underneath that part, and then the pony could graze, and they would have this thing in here. They would have like a hole in there and a hole in there, and they'd pull these, like, not rods but long sticks, maybe rods, and they would put it here and here to give this more steadiness, but more so to lay cloth over it. And they made like a trailer, like a camping trailer almost, and they would stay here, and then some of them would pull it out further and create like an awning that came down past the trailer. And they were camping these. I can see these everywhere. They're all over here. They're all over here. And these people brought food, and they were out here for a long time, because as soon as the king was getting ill, the king died from sickness. So they knew he was getting ill, but nobody came until he died. As soon as he died on his deathbed, they sent messengers out, pigeons. They sent word out to all of the like little kingdoms, little castles that were under his jurisdiction, and they made the journey to come and pay homage, I guess, And so these people brought with them food. They brought things, to eat, but they were out here for a really long time, because they kept him in there, his body in there, for a month. They kept him in there a long time. And so these people, some of them got here because some of the castles are closer than others, and so the ones that would get here sooner ran out of food faster, and then the locals would create like a business, so they were trying to make money. I mean, people needed to eat, but still they were hustling it. And he says that his name is Francis. He says that he just couldn't. He said it was so disrespectful, and so he pushed them out and created a rule that they couldn't pass that tree line. And so these people here would have to leave their campsites or send the father or a page or someone, I don't know who, one of their, like, some people brought their servants with them, because these are, some of them who had that kind of setup, they were like, they had people helping them, because the lady that would come with them, she did some of her work, but mostly she had helpers and stuff. So they would go over there and buy food, but he kicked them out. They couldn't be any closer than that to the abbey. But out here on site, like, his energy is attached. His energy is attached here. This is his area. He's protecting it. He's keeping it holy, he said. And so he just thinks it's irreverent to do it that way.
So Rhonda, do you feel any other spirits around here?
Yeah, I do feel the busy ladies working.
The busy lady that you picked up.
They're not like, I don't feel the energy of the funeral. I feel
Okay.
the busy ladies. They're laundresses.
Okay.
They're taking care of all the laundry and doing lots of cleaning, and that's their job, to keep the textiles cleaned. That was the very, very first energy I felt over there at that swinging gate when we first came on. They had much work to do. It was never done. Never, ever done.
Would they have cleaned the monks?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything. She said the table linen, the bathing linen, the holy linen, the anybody who worked here, they cleaned it. They cleaned it, and I asked her how many. She said they had 15 women working. 15. That's a lot, I think. Doesn't that feel like a lot? I mean, they worked nonstop. She says, we got the Sabbath. But she said even on the Sabbath, she said they didn't get a break because they were all day in service, working, going to church, going to chapel and being parishioners, I guess, if that's the right word. And it was a long working day. She said that her hands, I can feel her hands are very rough and cracked. And she said that they had a way of, they would have a sheep's tail. And she said that would be like hand lotion. They'd take the sheep's tail and rub it all over their hands. And it's like, it almost looks like, when she's showing to me and she goes like this, it's like Vaseline or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be really fat, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is the sheep's tail fat?
Yeah.
So that's what she's showing me, that they had that. And she said that she had a pocket in her tunic dress, which is like a grayish, it was like a gray. It was clean. She was very clean and neat. But she wore like white. It was like a white habit. And inside of her pocket, she had her rosaries. I can feel them. And she had a big fluffy sheep's tail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she kept that with her.
The sweat.
And that's what they did. Keep their hands. Otherwise, they do it before they were working on the laundry, having their hands in there. And oh boy. Okay. So here she goes. She's talking more. And I asked her, how did you keep it clean? What did you use? Like, what was yours? She goes, piss. And so they had to collect. They collected the they collected the urine, and made the cleaning agents, I guess, to keep things sterilized.
So they would have used urine in these buildings to get rid of lice. Okay. They would have hung it above urine, the chemicals coming from it.
Would it have drawn the flies in, or
there would have been flies?
Or would it have just killed
it would have killed the lice,
or it would have maybe citronella, how it makes
exactly.
So it's like they don't want I don't.
A natural pesticide in a way.
Okay, got it.
More of a deterrent.
Yeah. Also, she said that I don't know if this makes any sense because I've never heard anything like this. Oh, you guys, I don't know. This is gonna sound crazy, but she said that urine was a preservative.
Yeah.
I never heard anything like that before.
Urine was used a hell of a lot in medieval times.
Yeah, they used it as a preservative, she said. Would it have been used for tanning hide as well?
Possibly. I'll do some research, guys, and pop it up on the bottom of the screen. It being used in tanning, but I don't, this is so crazy. I don't know. I have never heard anything like this before, but I'm just telling you what she's saying. So, oh my God. She's cleaning her face with it. Oh, okay. She said it makes your skin very clean, and she's showing me how nice her skin is clear. Like she doesn't have spots, like age spots on her. She's not super old. But she's an older woman. She's matronly. That age.
But she said they cleaned their face with it and they'd scrub it, and it would make their skin. She said it made their skin. It would help you to not have spots. And she said when women began to get the spots, she says when women she has a heavy accent. I am not even going to try to do it. But she said when the women get the spots, she said we give it a good scrub with the urine. She said, and it'll bleach it out apparently.
Well, it's acid.
Oh, is it?
It's like an acid. So
Okay, well,
the way
it's like
we
a skin-
use
it would keep the skin-
hyaluronic acid now and salicylic acid.
Okay.
I suppose it would have
Yeah,
been the medieval
yeah. So you
beauty
wouldn't get
product.
the spots on
Yeah.
on the hands, she said.
Piss night cream. Wow. Interesting. I want you to come under this archway. This is a different part again. And just kind of pick up on what you
Are we moving
felt.
towards food? I
Yes.
smell food.
Yeah.
I smell food. I hear noises of eating. I hear tankards clanging on the table. I hear people eating. I smell bread. I smell gravy. There's food in here. This is
Okay.
food. People are eating in here. And there's not a lot of talk, but they're busy eating and they like it. The food is good. The food is good. Like they ate well. Cheese is here.
Cheese, yeah.
Cheese, bread. I don't see any meat. I see what I would call gravy.
There's a few
I feel like there's gravy and there's these hard, it's almost like, do you remember when we ate at that restaurant and I had those little pucks of potatoes? Kind of? Okay, well, they have something like, it's about this big here. It's not like that big. It's about this thick. And it looks like it maybe used to be oatmeal, maybe?
Okay.
Like porridge
Yeah.
of some type. And it was shaped and formed, but they served it hot. And it was on a plate. And it was like that. And then they'd pour this brownish sauce, gravy on there. And so I can smell it. It smells really good. It actually smells good. I would eat it. They have these tankards, and they're wooden. They have this porridge shaped, it's almost like it was almost like somebody put it in there and went, but it's hot. It's hot, and it does keep its shape. And then this gravy's on it. So there are lots of people in this room. These are people who, so there's different phases of the meal. First, the holy men will eat, and then it's the order of holiness coming down. I want to call him the priest here, the main priest, Francis, who came forward and was talking to me. Other monks and priests and brothers who have been here for years, and they go in different stages of order and rank. And then after they're gone, they actually did have, which I find, I've asked them 3 times, am I hearing this right? They actually had, the caretakers, the women would eat in here. They didn't eat somewhere else. I said, well, who are these men? Because they don't look like they're holy men. And they said, oh, they ate here. This is where people ate. They didn't make them eat outside. No. He said the only people, what he's telling me right now, the only people who, and that's people who, this is a working abbey. So the people who are working here got to eat here. He said the only people who would have not ate in here were people who chose not to. But all were welcome at God's table. That's what he's telling me right now.
Okay. Can I bring you over to the graveyard?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I have this theory that graveyards are haunted. A lot of people disagree that graveyards aren't haunted and that spirits don't really wonder. Why would they wonder where they're buried? But I have experienced a lot of things as an investigator in graveyards. So I just want you to maybe put your hand on one of the heads.
They're here already.
They're here, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I believe they come. I don't think that they stay here.
Okay.
I don't think they stay here, but there is an old woman here.
Okay.
There's an old woman here. I think she's the only woman here. And she, Rose. Her name is Rose.
Rose.
And she just lived her whole life here. She doesn't have teeth. She died of old age. She's so cute. She says, I've seen me kings come and go. That's what she just said. Small, kind of wiry woman. Sweet, good humor. She wasn't a nun. She just worked here. She was part of the working castle. Or abbey. Pardon me. Hold on. No, she came as a young girl. She shows me herself little. And her mother was a handmaid to the queen of that castle.
Okay.
And she came here to continue working after her parents died. She actually started her life at the age of 12 here and never left. And they've known her. Her name is Rose. She says, they called me Rose of the Abbey. Everyone knew who Rose of the Abbey was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
She goes, she says, you'd be hard pressed to find another woman in an abbey's cemetery. She's very proud of it. She's like,
hello, Rose.
She's really,
wow.
She's just, I could tell she'd be fun.
She'd
fun. Be fun to hang out with. She liked her beer.
Does she remember me from visiting here before, maybe?
She's not.
She sees so many people.
She's not desiring to talk about anybody but herself right now.
Oh, okay. Go on, Rose. You get it. Yeah. And I seen a little flash there.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably Rose. She's, yeah. Can you take me? Rose, can you take me? Oh, wow. Okay, then. Okay, girl. She said people are on top of her. She said that people were buried over her. She is about, yeah, she's about here. And she said people are buried over her.
Okay. That would make sense.
She said they didn't mind me being here. She goes, I'm just glad they didn't dig my, she says me, I'm glad they didn't dig me bones up. Yeah, she's right here. She's right here. She's little. She's here.
Okay.
And she's holding the rosary. They gave her the rosary. She's got it.
Wow.
Would a name of I'm hearing like Lynette. Lynette? Is that it? Would that be a name? Okay. Her mother's name would be Lynette.
Lynette. Okay.
And she said her mother was very beautiful. She goes, I wish I would have looked like my mother. Instead, I looked like my dad. She said.
Me dad.
She's really, really funny. She's hilarious. She's chipper and cute. And was single her whole life. She didn't, at least I'm guessing, she's not showing me any children. I think she says maybe I think that she had a couple times where someone was sweet on her, but she just wouldn't. She's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
She didn't need the drama that came with marriage, she said. So
wow.
She just didn't go there.
Okay, guys, we're just walking out, and I just seen a man walk through this doorway, and I'm just hoping it's not.
I saw it as well.
I'm hoping it's human.
No, I felt it, and then I saw it walk through here really quickly.
Oh. Hello? Oh. Okay. We're okay. Sorry, guys, it's so dark. This was not expected, so
yeah.
Okay, so I seen his back leg.
I saw his full body.
He was quick.
Yeah, he was very quick. Yeah, I saw his whole body go dart across the room and through here.
But I didn't think it was a human being in flesh.
Yeah, well, for me, I go straight to logical, but there's no one here. Oh my god, Rhonda. The sky is purple on the camera.
Is it really?
Yeah. My time with American medium Rhonda Hale was 2 weeks of magic, adventure, and friendship. 2 weeks I will never forget. Watching a professional medium up close and personal is unlike anything I have ever experienced. I am a skeptic at heart. I am a paranormal investigator. I have to be. But when Rhonda was connecting with spirit, I can't deny that I felt something. The hairs on the back of my neck stood to attention. The feeling of energy around me was unsettling and fascinating. With this documentary, my goal is simple. I want to make the viewer think beyond oneself, be open-minded, and find comfort that maybe there is a world beyond the one we see. We have all had strange moments in our lives where we seen or felt something unusual. Maybe, just maybe, we could feel a spirit reaching out to us.